Lee, you there?
Just about, mate. I'm just going to shake off a couple of these FSB guys, if that's all right.
Yeah, I was about to say, are you like currently being fisted by like FSB agents for looking like
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
Bean? They probably think you're a spy.
yeah. But being somebody of colour, they don't touch me with their own fists. They just use long, pointed sticks.
I'm surprised they aren't trying to get your autograph, thinking it's Rowan Atkinson or something.
They are, mate, in blood.
All right, so dude, this is we're on live here with Lee in Russia, in Kaliningrad, right?
Kaliningrad.
Kaliningrad. We have Lee from
It's
the
like
Gadsby's England podcast out in Kaliningrad right now, covering the World Cup, and yeah, we're lucky enough to get you on the phone. I didn't even think they even had reception there, like or internet there. So I'm surprised you could even talk to me.
only for this call, my friend, because they're going to be monitoring it for informational purposes.
Oh, do they monitor everything?
Um, it's we've been sort of travelling around, and it could be just paranoia, which encompasses me anyway. But every time you switch on a microphone, or it seems that you have a camera or anything that looks remotely like media or broadcasting, suddenly some dodgy-looking bloke appears, or even woman, I don't know. Appears sort of leaning over the in the background, or taking a sort of a very sort of conspicuous interest in what you were doing, and all the women we've shagged clearly are honey traps.
So wait, are the guys wearing like black trench coats with like a fedora on, just kind of following you in the background, smoking a cigarette?
No, nothing is inconspicuous of that, of course.
So wait, go back to the slags here. So you're in. Where have you been so far? Moscow, Kaliningrad.
It's better than that. Moscow, and then to Volgograd, which was formerly Stalingrad, and my goodness, do they make you know it. Then to Nizhny Novgorod, then to St. Petersburg, and now Kaliningrad, which is seriously more difficult to get out of than a 1950s gulag.
Yeah, do they just have like one airport there, like one tiny little airport?
Who says they've got an airport? The plane landed on something resembling a level ground, but that's it.
But this is like, remember when the Sochi Olympics were going on and everybody gets there and they're just horrified by the accommodations?
Yeah, something like that, and then all drugged up. At least there was some good drugs there.
I can imagine. So tell me, let's get back to the hookers here. Have you been sampling the Ruski hookers while you've been there?
I love it. I love it how, you should rename your show. Let's get back to the hookers here.
Well, who cares about football? I care about hookers.
Mate, I would never indulge myself in such reprehensible activity. I know not of what you speak. But the birds here are the fittest on the planet. I don't think there's any. I think argument settled. Santa Barbara is pretty much up there. But when you get to a small corner of Nizhny Novgorod, where there might be dust bowl, there might be pieces of dust flying across the street, where it might be, homeless people, even homeless birds are 9 out of 10 by our standards.
Wow, yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So wait, where's all the fucked up looking Russian women? Like Chernobyl? Like where do they live?
At the age of, they live at about the age of 35 and above, because once they, not all of them, but once they hit, that sort of menopausal stage, something doesn't go quite right, and they start to get as ugly as the men are here. There's something bizarre about the Russian gene. Sorry, there's something just bizarre about the Russian gene, that it's able to produce such stunning women and such ugly blokes, and it's brilliant for Western blokes, because even if you can have zero self-esteem in Los Angeles and feel like fucking Ronaldo when you're in Russia.
Yeah, but don't they want to like take your money and possibly your organs when you pass out?
Yeah,
after,
we got done.
After having
We
sex
got
with
done
them?
actually. we got down in St. Petersburg at about 4:00 in the morning, walking down the street, because there's no darkness at this time of year. It's 23 hours basically of light, and these two fantastic, beautiful young girls came up to us and said, "Hey, how you doing? Are you from England?" Blah blah blah. Of course, making us think entirely that it was the interest they had in us being English. But it's the classic one where they say, "No, don't go to that bar. Come to this bar. It's great." And they take you to their quote unquote local neighborhood bar.
Was it just a bordello?
No, where you are basically forthwith to buy. First of all, they start off with a cheap quote unquote bottle of sparkling wine, which was awful. It was something with the word martini on it, and sparkling wine should never go together. And that costs about $50, and you think, yeah, that's not too bad. We can swallow it. We've got these phenomenal birds with us. But then it progresses to every single bottle that you buy being exponentially more expensive than the other one. You're sort of thinking to yourself, this isn't a posh bar. This is like a sports bar.
It's a pyramid scheme.
It's a pyramid. Of course, these women are paid by these bars to
bring in punters. That's basically what they're doing.
In foreigners, basically. And then when you refuse to pay any more, they just lose it with you. They're just like, "You're not real man. You're not a real man."
Wait, so is that what happened? Like, did they?
Yeah, completely.
It's kind of emasculating.
We thought it was just because they were really attracted to us, but no. Once you don't buy them another bottle of $20 Perrier water, then then they want you to go to karaoke in the next room until you realise that each song that you want to sing is about 1,000 rubles, which is about 48 cents. But that's besides the point.
So wait a second. Are they prostitutes? Are these prostitutes? Or are these just like women, models going out there to pull in punters?
Well, I broached that subject with Alona, who was one of them, and I said to her basically, "You're being hired, aren't you, to do this?" And she exploded into Russian rage, saying, "You think I am bitch? I am not bitch." I said, "No, you're not a bitch. You're a nice girl." By bitch, she actually meant
prostitute,
brass, basically a prostitute, exactly, a woman of the night. Or the day, as it was then.
So how much are the hookers? What's the rates right now?
No idea, mate. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, right.
I've been told that they range from anything to 50 euros to and up. Probably Moscow. Probably a little bit more than that, I'd say.
So 50 euros just for like a blowjob or a hand job, or 50 euros for like full on shag?
Wouldn't know, mate.
I love how you keep pleading the fifth. You guys don't even have a Fifth Amendment in your country.
Am I only a guest on this show ever to talk about fucking brass, mate?
Well, I was going to get to the football soon. I'm just trying to get out the interesting stuff first. So okay, what about that? You just sent me a link on WhatsApp that linked to, like, I don't know, there were some male hookers in there too, which I'm a little curious, a little surprised about. But you said that they have some kind of deal where you don't even touch them and you get off. What's that all about?
I've been reliably told that in Kaliningrad there is an establishment called Fidelio, where one of the treatments is apparently it's a place where you're not allowed to touch the girls, but they claim to be able to give you a better orgasm without any kind of touch from you than you would have from shagging the arse off some bird.
What about your willy? Will they touch your willy?
Don't know. I expect they have to if you want. If you're going to sort of extinguish yourself.
I'd be worried that they're going to shove a bottle of vodka up my ass or something. You never know. Never trust a Russian.
Mate, you like I say, there are walls have ears, and I think the air has hands, if you want to put it that way.
So I heard from our mutual friend that I work with. He was saying that you've been really frightened by a lot of these Russian hooligans. Is that true?
No, it's been absolutely. Unfortunately, it's been docile, mate. We were looking for a good tear up, but it's not happened.
I thought that was the thing. I thought they were notorious for being racist and violent and that run through the streets. Is it not like that?
I think the English have been really disappointed. It's like, they've been going down looking for revenge for Marseille, but everybody's been lovely and welcoming and peaceful. What I'd heard is that Putin had sent round his best FSB hoods to these known football hooligans, knocked on the door, and they were told basically, either you leave the country, you stay indoors, or your family gets it.
Oh, okay. So he shut it down. He's like Margaret.
Happened.
Didn't Margaret Thatcher do the same thing in the 80s?
Yeah, it didn't work. But when Uncle Vladimir tells you to do it, you do it.
So
these are, by the way, the same hooligans that Vladimir Putin's own sports department sent to Marseille to beat up the English 2 years ago.
So they're good at it. They're well practiced.
Do what they're told.
So I'm as surprised as anybody else that England's still in it. You guys are made it to round 16, which just blows my mind. I guess maybe there is a God. So how's the games? How are the games? I've seen some of your videos. How's it watching games there?
Well, first of all, let's just preface the World Cup by saying this is the only month probably ever that I'm absolutely ignorant of news around the world, and especially American news, which I absolutely get off on all the time. I mean, I wake up in the morning when I'm home in LA, eating, drinking, breathing politics there. But I could not tell you a damn thing. And that's because the World Cup is the greatest single, not just sporting event, but it's the greatest single human event there is. And I have now come to the conclusion that Americans need to be rounded up, wartime style, and made to watch the World Cup, tied down into chairs, their eyes pried open like Malcolm McDowell in Clockwork Orange, and made to watch every single game. And that includes games like Sweden versus Switzerland, even the most dull-sounding games. After the games today, that's what should happen. Every citizen of the world should be marched in front of a television.
I think you just like watching men running around in short shorts. We actually like watching real sports where guys are beating the shit out of each other, on a football field, like real football. That's what we're interested in. I mean, we'd watch the World Cup, but we'd probably fall asleep.
Well, that's what your ones are known as is blokes, crashing into each other with a load of padding. What football is known as is sport. Yeah.
To be honest, I gotta say there is World Cup fever everywhere I've been. Every bar is playing World Cup. Every at my office, you walk around, you see everybody, watching. I think they're pretending to like it and pretending to care, so they can be cool and cultural. But whatever, it definitely seems to be much more popular now than it was back when I was younger. So maybe it's catching
they
on.
like it or not. Whether they like.
Well, the fact of the matter is, we like football, we like basketball because and baseball in particular, because fat Americans can play those sports. We could play it with our families on the weekend. Dude, we couldn't fucking run around for an hour on a field chasing a ball. Could you imagine? We couldn't even run around for 4 minutes. We're way too out of shape for that.
What do you think? What do you think Trump supporters think of football?
Oh, they probably hate it. I'm sure they hate it.
Because it somehow it's tied in with socialism, isn't it?
Or immigrants or something. Who knows? Although
which is ironic.
I don't know. I mean, they seem to like Russia, so maybe they're catching on. So how's England doing? You guys have won 3 games, right?
All right, let's cut to the chase.
Let's cut to the chase. Let's get to the brass tacks here.
We have beaten the mighty Tunisia. We have beaten the mighty Panama. And we've lost to Belgium. But
yeah, I saw that.
Let me explain how it works a little bit. I mean, even though those 2 teams, you could say, are Mickey Mouse teams, there's the old adage about the World Cup, which is that any team in the World Cup is a very tough opponent, and you can only beat the opponent that's put in front of you. And England, it was a tough one against Tunisia, but against Panama, we came out and we thumped them 6-1. And now that is pretty good going. That is something that you don't really see. England, remember in the past, have drawn with teams like Algeria and that other absolute minnow, the United States of America.
Well, I was saying, I heard that Panama just barely made it to the World Cup, just over the United States, whereas Belgium is an actual real opponent.
Well, the game against Belgium was interesting because the way the World Cup works is that the top 2 teams in the group go through to the last 16. But having got to that third game against Belgium, it became quite apparent that the team that finished at the top of the group faced a considerably harder run in the last 16 than potentially the quarterfinal and so on. So it became quite a debating point that it actually was better to finish second in the group. So both Belgium and England kind of put out a second string team. And the Belgian one ended up winning 1-0. And I've never heard England fans before cheering the opposition scoring and saying 1-0 to Belgium and enjoying it. So
why would they cheer it?
Because basically it meant that England came second in the group and will now probably avoid Brazil in the quarterfinals. So now instead of that, we have Colombia, tricky, on Tuesday. And if we get through that, we've got Switzerland or Sweden for a place in the semi-final of the World Cup. But as I say, we've got to get through Colombia first. Whereas Belgium have Japan next, which they should
annihilate.
But then they potentially have Brazil or Mexico, neither of which you'd fancy, but it's probably going to be Brazil. And that is obviously a much more difficult opponent. So, and then after that, they have the potentially France, Croatia or Uruguay or something like that, where the only danger team for England in the semi-finals would be Spain, and Spain haven't really lit up the tournament.
France just beat Argentina, so
that was one of the great. I mean, if anybody doesn't think that this tournament is the greatest event in the world, I suggest you go and watch that match because it was a sporting masterpiece.
Yeah, I was sleeping.
You're sleeping now, mate.
Yeah, probably. So that's interesting. So England will go on to play, go on the rest of the tournament, and they will actually play some more formidable opponents. However, are you relieved that you're not going to have to play Germany?
You know what? England's nemesis, I think it is, which has never happened before, are all out. The teams that have knocked England out almost every World Cup since 1970 are out. Germany, who have been a constant misery to us, they're out. And I must say I felt terribly sorry for them. Jawohl!
South Korea, too. Isn't that weird? Is that insult to injury?
I thought you meant South Korea, one of England's nemesis.
No, I mean South Korea.
Yeah, they knocked
Germany,
them out.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. I mean, my heart bled for them. And a lot of people sent a photograph showing the surrender of Germans in 1945 with the German footballers putting their hands on their heads, which I thought was particularly offensive, by the way.
Although,
so Germany are out.
People were surprised.
Argentina, our other nemesis, are out today. And then Portugal, our other nemesis with Ronaldo, they're out tonight. So I don't know.
I didn't know Portugal was out. Who beat them?
Yeah, Portugal have just been knocked out by Uruguay 20 minutes ago.
Oh my God, dude, that's huge.
Ronaldo is out.
Wow, this is quite an upset because these are all the teams that always dominate every World Cup.
They are, and they always knock out England. But I don't believe in superstition because I think it brings you bad luck. But I think this is a potentially not a bad thing for England.
No, I was about to say, it's like you guys are lucky. All the good teams are getting knocked out, so now you have a chance.
Yeah, you missed the pun there, by the way. Never mind.
So where are you off to next?
Bad luck.
Where are you off to next?
After talking to you, I'm off to where these almost 7 foot KGB leather jacketed looking geezers are going to take me.
Well, you're paying them to do that, right? Yeah. It's a private basement somewhere.
Nothing wrong with a bit of suffering.
Yeah, but so where do you go next? Are you still covering the next game? Is that going to be in Kaliningrad?
I mean, we have been stuck here. You have no idea how difficult it's been to get out of here. A day late. I'm supposed to be at the England match training today. I will be going to the St. Petersburg. I hardly know. I don't know what day it is. St. Petersburg in the morning. and joining up at the England Media Centre, where I will behave a lot better than I behave on your show. And had the Football Association of England heard any of this stuff, I would not be heading to St. Petersburg. I would be heading right back to probably a prison at Her Majesty's pleasure.
Well, I'll make sure to hashtag it with your first and last name and the name of your show when I post it to Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, thanks very much. So it's St. Petersburg tomorrow, then Moscow Monday morning, and then it's England's biggest match for 8 years against Colombia on Tuesday.
Oh, I'm going to have to watch that one. So do you think in terms of stadiums or where they've been playing, like, are the stadiums in Russia, like, I just picture it to be like, they have a, World Cup match tonight, and then tomorrow it's like a bunch of, like, Siberian brown bears fighting each other and riding around bikes, I don't know what kind of impression you have of Russia. That happens before the games, you silly boy. But are the stadiums up to par?
The stadiums, are probably the most magnificent stadiums I've ever been in, to be quite frank.
Wow.
They are about 100 years ahead of our time. I mean, they are just, I wrote something on my show website saying, stood outside the St. Petersburg Stadium saying St. Petersburg Stadium or Mars attacks, because it looked like a UFO from the future had landed in the middle of St. Petersburg. Just unbelievable stadiums. I mean, I can't even make a joke about it. I can't even say something funny about it because they're
Is that
just
impressive?
They're almost beyond. They're imperfectly perfect. In that they are brilliantly designed. They put the crowd right on top of the action, so that no matter where you're sat, you feel like you're right in amongst it.
Well,
and
I mean, to be
just
honest,
unbelievable.
Putin's gotten a lot of money from Trump, and I'm sure he's put a lot of money into infrastructure and building these stadiums. So, yeah, I'm not surprised.
I think Donald Trump now will probably, being told to like football after this. I think Uncle Vladimir may have words with him if he doesn't.
Especially because they're going. There's a summit coming up, so I'm sure Trump is pretending to care about football so he can get in his good graces.
Absolutely. What I really must say on that subject is that I'm going to the Ritz-Carlton in Moscow for a little beverage. I think it's on Monday. Now, that is the infamous spot where the infamous, again, P-tape was filmed. So I'm going to go looking for stains.
See if you should start talking to some of your KGB, FSB buddies and see if you can track down that tape.
Mate, what I'm going to be doing is wandering into the housekeeping department, because one of those maids will know the truth.
She probably still has the sheet, from the bed.
There you go.
I'm sure that's on eBay, or might be on eBay soon.
The trouble is, if their name is boiled down to Olga or Svetlana, it's going to take a long time to find them.
Because they're all named that. Well, good luck.
Racist.
I hope you don't get, catch a bit of the AIDS or herpes or anything that's incurable while you're over there. But hey, if you're not touching them but still getting off, then maybe it's not. Maybe you'll be fine. It's like.
Don't you mean you hope I don't get anything curable?
Well, you already have that. I don't know if you could cure Down syndrome. I'm hoping England ends up, getting to the next round. We'll have to see. Colombia is going to be a tough game.
It's going to be a very tough game. In all seriousness, though, England have sort of been given a carpet, a what looks like at least a pink carpet, if not a red one. So they've got to do it. We'll see. Yeah,
we'll see. Well, good luck. And where can people catch the show?
Oh, yeah. Go to facebook.com/Gadsby's England. That's GAD for David, SBY. S again, England, ENGLAND, and you'll love every minute of it if you like really boring football shows.
Are you posting? Are you just doing Facebook Live, like posting the videos just to Facebook?
We're doing. It's going to Facebook, and I believe back there they are going. I don't even know how the YouTube channel is working. So if you find our YouTube channel, tell us if it's working or not.
All right, I'll have to check into it. All right, Lee, I hope you do all right, and you don't get arrested by Putin anytime soon.
I'd love to be arrested by Putin personally.
All right, I'll catch you later.
Do svidania.